This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Uh, Once again, very good evening and thanks for joining. Okay. Uh, because it's again one more session for us today. Morning will continue with uh, always on. We'll discuss about complete about always on. Till now we completed almost our single subnet class always on availability group, multi subnet always on availability group, and we discuss about the DNN. We discuss about listener concepts as well. How what is a load balancer? Why we are configuring load balancer for listeners especially? That is what we discussed. In same day, if we take two sessions, if I go for again always an availability group over the evening, that will overload to the people who are listening first time. So that's the reason. Next 4 to 5 days we'll discuss about Azure SQL Database. Most of the people you already know whatever the concept we are discussing on this Azure SQL Database. Okay, so that's the reason I planned evening session will go for Azure SQL, morning will go for always on availability group. Make a sense, right, everyone? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because almost we are at 1 week. Okay, so in next couple of days we need to complete as soon as possible so that you will be ready for um, interview process. Okay, that is a major reason I'm just looking for here. So this is also very important. Uh, just spend more time. We have less time. Spend more time. Okay. Uh, you can ask me any questions. You can ping me over WhatsApp. Okay. Next 2 months, next till March ending is very crucial for us. Till March ending, please be so more interactive rather than just spending uh, everything. You should prepare, sir. Don't waste your time. Every day is very crucial for us now. Okay, so prepare. You can ask me. You can ask in our use our WhatsApp group. Everyone will respond. Okay, I will respond. I will respond. Or the people who already are having experience, they will also respond. Okay, so use that WhatsApp group like anything till March ending. Until you place, not March ending. Until you everyone will place. Okay, everyone. So you should be so pay. So this Saturday I'm going to take one session, how to handle the calls, how to uh, um, talk to consultancies. Okay, that is also very important. I'm going to collect the people who are looking for job. Okay, different in WhatsApp group, and we'll make one session so that you will be so comfortable. That is also we are planning. Okay, so morning we'll go for regular sessions. Evening we'll plan for Azure SQL and a couple of not that uh, you already know all these concepts. Those concepts we'll discuss in the evening. Morning we'll go for as usually very interesting and very important concepts. Make sense? After always on, we'll go for migration part. After migration, we'll discuss the performance tuning. So two major concepts are pending. One is migrations. Almost it will take 3 to 4 days again. We'll see different techniques about the migrations. Then we'll go for performance tuning. That is very critical for us. Okay, where you are learning a lot of things, how to tune SQL Server. That is actually SQL part, SQL DBA part. Whatever we are learning till now. Okay, that is a basic, sir. Everyone can do. You can take the backups. You can perform the security. Everything anyone can do. But whatever we are discussing, replication, whatever we discuss this week, we'll also complete the replication troubleshooting along with always on troubleshooting. Then we'll go for migration. So give me more time. That's what my request. If you give more time, we'll discuss a lot about the technical stuff. Okay, make sense, everyone? Questions? No? Yes? Stop me anytime. That's what my main request, because you paid the amount. Okay, you need to get more subject from my side. Okay. Yep, everyone. Let's. Just intro part, sir. I am not going for in-depth, just theoretical part today. We are discussing about Azure SQL Database. It's a one of the PaaS platform. So you remember when we started discussing about cloud, especially on cloud, there are two platforms. Okay, three platforms actually. One is IaaS, one is PaaS, one is SaaS. Yeah, one is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Infrastructure as a service, that's what we morning we started deploying the clusters, started deploying the always on. We are playing with infrastructure as a service. Means you have the control on operating system. You can access your operating system, you can play with your operating system when you go for IaaS, infrastructure as a service, that we already discussing since last couple of days over the clusters, over the always on. Next couple of days also we are under IaaS platform only. Okay. Now one more platform that is what very important for us, that is nothing but PaaS platform, platform as a service. Okay, Azure SQL Database, Azure MI will falls under PaaS platform, platform as a service. Means you don't have infrastructure, sir. Just you are deploying a Azure SQL database, just you are deploying MI and you can access. You don't have you don't have control on underlying infrastructure when you especially go to the PaaS platform. Okay, that's what these two services are very important. Once we complete Azure SQL database, especially we'll discuss about the MI. Especially we'll discuss about the MI, sir. Okay, make a note, everyone. Uh, so today agenda is a little bit intro about Azure SQL database. Okay, and when you will go for PaaS platform, when you go for IaaS platform, and short story. That's what we are discussing. And one of the new concept that we are going to discuss is service tiers. This is something new to you. Okay, this is something new to you. You need to more concentrate on this part. Okay, whatever we are discussing rest you already know, sir. We already discussed a lot till almost we completed so almost how many sessions we completed, sir, till now? Almost we done 52 sessions till still 30 almost 30 sessions is pending. Okay, so that's what we are planning, every day two sessions, so that as soon as possible we can complete it. Okay, so okay, that's what. Let's go per here. Okay, a little intro, sir. I'm not discussing deep dive. We'll see a little intro. Okay, so Microsoft, you know about the history of Microsoft. We discussed a lot about history about Microsoft. Microsoft has been started 25 years ago. He started with SQL Server 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 7.0. He came up with SQL Server 2000, 2005, 2008, 2008 2012, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2019. Now here we are standing at SQL Server 2022. He enhanced a lot in every version. He enhanced a lot in every version. But especially when you go for SQL Server 2005, he redesigned everything, the code. Whatever the code, he redesigned everything. Now completely it's a SQL Server. Earlier, it's a mixture of Sybase and SQL before 2005. Up to 2005, it's a mixture of Sybase and SQL, but from SQL Server 2005, Microsoft has been completely redesigned this code, and it is completely Microsoft related stuff only. And every version Microsoft introduced lot many features, which is very interesting features. Okay, on SQL Server 2012, Microsoft came up with always on availability group, one of the great feature. SQL Server 2014, Microsoft came up with OLTP memory. It is also one of the great feature. And 2016, Microsoft came up with a lot many concept like Power BI, one of the virtualization tool. Earlier, we used to use reporting services, but from SQL Server 2016, Microsoft released one new reporting tool, that is nothing but Power BI. You can design the reports with a lot of dashboards, virtualization, sir. You can virtualization the data. But on SQL Server 2017, Microsoft came up with a new platform, a new platform that is nothing but Linux platform. You can deploy your SQL Server in Linux platform, not only in Windows. Till now, till SQL Server 2016, almost is a 20 years journey. We are under Windows platform completely. SQL is under Windows platform. Okay, but on SQL Server 2017, Microsoft came up with a different platform that is nothing but Linux platform. Either you can deploy your SQL Server on Ubuntu, you can deploy SQL Server on CentOS, you can deploy in SQL on Oracle Linux box, you can deploy SQL on Red Hat. These are all the Linux flavors, are like how in Windows we have Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Servers 2000, 2005, 2008, 2012. Like we have different flavors of Windows, right? Like same in Linux also we have different flavors. So you can deploy your SQL on a different environment itself. That is one of the major innovation made on on SQL Server 2017. And also later on, Microsoft also came up with a concept called containers. Okay, you can install SQL on Docker containers, you can install SQL on Kubernetes containers. Okay, so this is also additional flavors. Okay, so mostly you may also get a chance to work on how to install Docker. Docker is a container, sir. Kubernetes is also container. Using Dockers, you can build the clusters. Using Kubernetes, you can build the clusters. It's again a different platform. So Windows is one platform, Linux is one platform, Dockers are different platform, but underlying is again it will use Windows flavors or Linux flavors, whatever you use. So Docker will completely work with the YAML program. Docker will completely work with the YAML program. You can for example, if you go to the here and if you search for Docker Docker Hub. It's a central repository. So you can design one YAML program. Once you design that YAML program, you can upload into the Docker Hub. It's a central repository. It's a central repository where we can explore a lot. So, for example, if you wanted to install SQL Server, if you wanted to install SQL Server, okay, SQL MS SQL Server. Okay, let's go for SQL Server. Come on, yeah. Yeah, Microsoft SQL Server on Ubuntu image. See, so how what they will do, right? They will create one image. So they will create one Docker file, and they will convert the Docker file into the image, and they will upload that image into this GitHub. GitHub is sorry, Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a central repository. For example, if you wanted to uh, work with Ubuntu flavor, and you don't know how to install Ubuntu, you don't know how to install SQL Server, you can directly use this container and you can play with this container because this SQL is under Ubuntu. Ubuntu is one of the Linux flavor. So containers you can install. Sir, again, underlying is Ubuntu or Windows only. Underlying it's a container only, but underlying here which version SQL Server, which operating system, you need to select everything. They what they will do, right? They will do everything under one file, Docker file. Once they design that YAML program on the Docker file, they will convert the Docker file into the images and they will upload into the Docker Hub. Okay, see, enhance a lot. So where we are standing, that is also very important. If we are just Windows lovers and we are just installing SQL Server on Windows and we think that okay we are good at SQL Server, no sir. Microsoft enhancing lot. So where we are also standing, that is also very important part. Make sense, everyone? Okay. So Docker, Kubernetes are the containers, Linux, Windows. These many flavors you can use to deploy your SQL Server. SQL. server in on premises, especially these are all in on premises. You can also go for Azure VMs. Azure VMs is nothing but someone else data center we are placing our SQL servers. That's it. Okay, it's like on premises only, but the servers will be maintained by either Microsoft or AWS or Google Cloud or Alibaba Cloud or IBM Cloud, or so someone else data center, someone else VMs we are placing our SQL servers. That is nothing but here we have the control on operating system. You can access the operating system, you can play with this operating system, okay, in IS platform. But when you go to the PaaS platform, okay, we don't have any control on underlying infrastructure. We don't have any control on underlying operating system. That is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, how the PaaS platform will works, how to deploy SQL Server, how to access, how to see the securities, what is the backups, what is the restores, how to make automation. All this part will discuss in PaaS. Then you can compare with MI as well, sir. Okay, MI is bit costly. You cannot uh, deploy managed instance under free trial subscription. Definitely, you need to go for pay as you go model. If you wanted to play with MI, you need to create pay as you go subscription. Under free trial subscription, no sir, we can't use MI instance. That is a one point you need to make it note down. And in going forward, that's what in the starting itself I highlighted. Okay, in my our futures, okay, what is our next generation is nothing but Azure Synonyms. It is a one of the data warehouse platform, is a one of the data warehouse platform, okay, where you can deploy Azure Synonyms analytics. You can store your data, you can spin the data, you can analysis your data, everything you can do it in Azure Synonyms analytics. It is a data warehouse tool. It is a data warehouse tool. One second, sir. Oh, I'm having meeting. Hi Prasanna. One second. Okay, yeah. So as I told you, I will take one session on Azure Synonyms as well. So how what is Azure Synonyms? How important it is playing? Now it is a game changer, sir. Azure Synonyms is the game changer in entire data engineer. In entire data engineer, now Azure Synonyms is making some game changer now. Okay, whatever you are doing with Azure Databricks, whatever you are doing with Azure Data Factory, so everything you can do it in a single shot. That is nothing but Azure Synonyms Analytics. Now it is making a game changer. Okay, I will take one session. As I promise, I will take one session on Azure Synonyms, and I will take one session on Azure Data Lake. Okay, because nowadays we are getting a chance on Azure Data Factory. Also, I will take one session, three sessions, additional sessions. Apart from this, nowadays we are getting a chance to move the data from using Azure Data Factory from on-premises to cloud or cloud to on-premises. Uh, so that's the reason. Let's take three different sessions and see how Data Factory will works, how Azure Data Lake will works. We already discussed about Azure Storage Account. In additional stuff, we'll discuss about the Azure Data Lake along with Azure Synonyms. Yep. Questions? Any questions, anyone?
No question right now, so
No
Yeah.
question, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now, next slide. Again, sir, Microsoft Azure came up on the Feb 1st, 2010. Okay. Starting itself, Microsoft came up with the concept called Azure SQL Database. It is a starting service, sir. It's a basic service again. Okay. Most of the people, whenever you are searching in Facebook or somewhere, we are teaching Azure SQL database, we are teaching Azure SQL. It's a basic, and you are having lot of compatibility issues. Going forward in coming sessions, definitely you will see, sir. Definitely you will see. MI is our main agenda, sir, actually. Okay. So, and on Azure SQL Database, Microsoft came up with the performance tiers. That is what we are going to discuss. This is the one of the very new concept and very interesting concept that we are going to discuss today. Performance based tiers, which is introduced in 2014. Okay. Elastic pools, which is introduced in 2015. That is also we are going to discuss. Azure Data Warehouse, which is released in 2016. And almost this service went for 2 years. After 2 years, Microsoft has been redesigned the service into Azure Synonyms Analytics. Earlier, uh, before Azure Synonyms Analytics, there we have the service called Azure Data Warehouse, which is introduced in 2016 for specially for ETL tool, extract, transform, load tool. Okay, now it is completely no more. You never see Azure SQL Data Warehouse. It is completely redesigned, and Microsoft came up with one new service called Azure Synonyms Analytics. Okay, in the year 2018 or 2019. Okay, so Microsoft came up with the service called Azure Synonyms Analytic. It is a one of the data warehouse service. It is a one of the data warehouse service. And Microsoft came up with one more service specially for our SQL purpose. Is nothing but managed instance, which is released in 2018. Actually, so this service is already available in AWS, in Google Cloud, in Alibaba Cloud, sir. In AWS, you will call it as RDS. Anyone knows about AWS? In AWS, there is a RDS where you can deploy your SQL servers. Like same how your RDS will works, how Google SQL will works, how Alibaba SQL will works. Same how Microsoft came up with one service called Azure SQL managed instance. But not sure why he not came up with the free trial subscription. He can came up with the free trial subscription at least for minimum to minimum so that we can practice like RDS. But under free trial you can't do anything, sir. If you wanted to do play with the MI, definitely you need to go for the pay as you go model. Yeah. Now, so when you will go for PaaS platform, when you go for IS platform, that is one of the biggest question. Most of the people having one of the biggest question. So if you simple for don't see the slide as well, and a simple understanding. If you want to control an operating system, means you wanted to access your operating system. For example, we already deployed the servers, right? For example, for always on purpose, we already deploy the VMs. Currently, three VMs are running. Under three VMs, this two VMs SQL is handling. Along with SQL, if you wanted to parallelly run any application, any third-party application, on any other applications, in that scenario, most probably will go for the IS platform. Means if you want more control on operating system, along with if you wanted to run SQL and application, any third party application or any application side by side, in that scenario also you will go for the IS platform. So when you go for IS platform, mostly if you want to do more control on operating system, means infrastructure level, I want more control. Along with I wanted to run the SQL server parallelly with any other third party application, in that scenario also we'll go for the IS platform. Not only in Azure, sir, in all platforms, IS platform is available. So majorly, if someone is asking what is the best preference, you will go for IS. Means if I wanted to run the application and SQL server side by side, and if I wanted to control an operating system, underlying infrastructures, everything, then I can go for IS platform. Otherwise, I can go for the PaaS platform. I can go for the PaaS. PaaS we have two, sir. One is Azure SQL Database, one is Azure MI. In AWS, we have RDS service. We have RDS service. In time being, I will also make one session on AWS. Okay, how EC2 instance will works, how RDS will works. We'll try to deploy one SQL Server in RDS. Okay, in time permits, I will make one session on AWS as well, so that you will feel so comfortable. You, if you get a chance to work on AWS also, almost it makes somewhat little bit easy for you. Yep. Okay, so if I don't want control on operating system, I don't want I'm not uh, installing any third party applications in here. I want to mainly focus on my database, and I want to mainly focus on my data. Then you will go for the password. I just wanted to focus main on my SQL. I just wanted to main focus on main on data. Then you will go for then you will go for, okay, PaaS platform. Otherwise, you will go for IaaS platform. Okay, questions? Questions?
No question right now, so
Okay, sir. Yeah. Now, a little bit intro, sir. Again, Azure SQL Database. Microsoft Azure SQL Database is a managed cloud database provided as part of Microsoft Azure. Microsoft is going to provide as a service, sir, as a service. It's a cloud database. It's providing Microsoft as a service. A cloud database is a database that runs on a cloud computing platform, and access to it to provide as a service. So Microsoft is providing as a service. You are just creating a Azure SQL database, and you are going to deploy the databases, and you can access the databases. You can play with the database like, sir, anything, without worrying about the infrastructure. Without worrying about the infrastructure, because this database is hosted on the cloud infrastructure. It's not not in like a our traditional, sir. It's a cloud service, cloud database service. Okay, cloud database service where completely hosted on the cloud infrastructure. You no need to worry about it, because see, it is a platform as a service. You no need to worry about the operating system. You no need to worry about the storage, network, virtualizations, installations, upgradations, patching, maintenance, infrastructure management. Nothing, sir. Everything will be taken care by your cloud provider. Either it can be Azure or AWS or something, because it's a PaaS platform. You can call it as a PaaS, or you can call it as a database as a service. You can call it as a PaaS, or you can call it as a database as a service, where Microsoft is going to take care lot many things. Our main focus should be our main focus should be database, data. We will create the database, we'll load the data, will main focus will be on database and data. Forget about infrastructure, forget about operating system, forget about storage, forget about networks, virtualizations, everything will be handled by Microsoft. And some of the key features when you specially go to the PaaS platform, okay, long term backup retention means you can store your backups up to 10 years. Long term backup retention, you can store your backups up to 10 years. And it will also support the geo replication, like high availability, sir. In traditional, we are having log shipping, we are having mirroring, we are having always on, we are having clusters. Like, say, when you go to the cloud, when you go to the cloud, we are using geo replication and failure groups. Is Microsoft is also providing high availability over PaaS platform as well. And automation, sir, performance automation tuning. Okay, high availabilities, automatically backups are performing. You no need to worry about the backups. Microsoft is going to take the backups, and you can store those backups up to 10 years. You can store those backups up to 10 years. Okay, that is everything will be taken care by Microsoft. You no need to worry. So to configure, we already configure always on availability group. To configure always on availability group, how much time you spend, sir? How much time? So almost 2 to 3 hours you spend, right? If you wanted to configure always on, you need to configure clusters, blah 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 something. But if you wanted to configure geo application, if you wanted to configure failure groups, it won't take that much time, sir. Anyhow, we are having separate session about how the geo application is working, how important it is playing, what is failure groups, how important is it is playing, how to configure, how to monitor, everything we'll see, sir. Okay, these are the some of the key features when you especially go to the Azure SQL database. And MI is also almost similar, sir. Okay, MI is also similar, but MI will make some lift and shift mechanism when you compare with Azure SQL database. How? So whenever you open in on premises, and if you connect in on premises, what is the feel you will get it? When you connect to the MI also, it will you will see, you will face same kind of feeling, but not for Azure SQL database. Azure SQL database, you will see little bit compatibilities. Lots, sir, not little bit, lot much of compatibilities. You will get to know, sir, going forward. Okay. Now again, back to back again, same slides only. I'm just repeating, sir, because we are going to the different platform, right? So you should get something, at least 1 or 2 points additional stuff, so that you will become somewhat stronger in pass as well. So I just repeating the same slides here also, sir. One is IaaS, two are pass, one is MI, one is Azure SQL database. In IaaS, we already discussing IaaS lot many things. We deployed the clusters, we deploy always on. Okay, you are having access to the servers, you can handle the servers, you can control the servers, everything you can play with that infrastructure, sir, when you specially go to the IaaS platform. But when you go to the PaaS platform, we are maintaining two. One is MI, which is like RDS service, sir. Okay, let me make cursor. Okay, MI, it's like RDS, AWS RDS service, sir. Google SQL, it's like a Google SQL, it's like a AWS RDS service. Microsoft came up with one service called MI, managed instance. Okay, managed instance. That is also we are going to discuss. We are going to spend almost 10 hours. We'll spend 10 hours, sir. Okay, we'll make 2 to 3 sessions, and we'll spend for 10 hours. What are the important features that want to discuss on MI? We'll discuss on MI as well. Okay, no worries. Once we complete all this, we'll sit 1 weekend or 2 weekends, and we'll discuss about the MI, all the concepts. Okay, in MI currently we are having only single instance, sir. Okay, single instance. So Microsoft is also going to introduce instance pool. Instance pool. Okay, uh, it's like a elastic pool only. We'll discuss about the elastic pools in the going forward coming the sessions. Okay, it's still under provision, sir. Maybe still in the development. Maybe in this year or next year, definitely we'll see instance pool. Maybe once Microsoft introduces instance pool, maybe we can also configure under free trial. Because uh, why we can't configure MI on free trial means, by default MI is using 8 cores. For under free trial we are having 4 cores limitation, sir. Okay, so we are having 4 cores, so MI need 8 cores to deploy MI instance. Okay, so that's the reason uh, under free trial you can't deploy the MI managed instance. Managed instance. Okay, so MI also we are going to discuss. And a couple of things here is, it is best techniques are lift and shift. Lift and shift is, whenever you see the lift and shift, don't get confused. That is nothing but, okay, you can take the backup and you can restore it. Means you can take the backup of your on-premises database and you can restore on MI. But that backup and restore is not compatible with Azure SQL database. That is not compatible with Azure SQL database. You can't perform backups and restore, sir. Means, sir, can I take backup of on premises? Can I restore in Azure SQL database? No, it won't support. So if you wanted to migrate to Azure SQL database, we have other techniques like backpack, DACpack, okay, DMA, generate script, import export, okay, Azure Data Studio. Recently, Microsoft came up with one more tool called Azure Data Studio, and recently Microsoft announced that you can also migrate your on-premises to Azure SQL database using Azure Data Studio. Using Azure Studio. Like earlier, almost 6 months ago, only Azure Studio you can use for managed instance, not for Azure SQL database, sir. Now we can use Azure Data Studio for Azure SQL database as well. That is a little bit challenge you will face whenever you are migrating your database to Azure SQL database, because it's not like a lift and shift mechanism. Means .bak files are not compatible for Azure SQL database. You need to use some other techniques. We are having this many techniques to migrate to Azure SQL database. Make a note, everyone. One more interesting is, for Azure SQL database, Microsoft came up with the concept called hyperscale. Hyperscale. Your database size can be 100 terabytes. Hyperscale is not compatible with MI. MI, we are having only two, sir. One is general purpose, one is business critical. One is general purpose, one is business critical, not hyperscale. Okay, hyperscale is all we will see in the going forward session, sir. No worries. Hyperscale is not compatible for MI, and serverless computer is also not compatible for MI. Like in India, especially when you go for India, Tata Docomo came up with a new innovation. What is that innovation, sir? Tata Docomo, online people, are you there? What is that new innovation, Tata Docomo?
It's seconds per call.
Second base, correct? Like same, okay. Serverless compute also Microsoft is going to charge per second. All the services Microsoft is going to charge per hourly basis, okay. But when you especially go to the serverless, Microsoft is going to charge per second basis. Microsoft is going to charge per second basis. That is a one of the great innovation Microsoft came up with, serverless compute. That is only compatible in Azure SQL database. Serverless computers are not compatible for MI. MI. I will share one document, sir. You can refer that document. You will see all the differences. Then you can make a note down somewhere. Okay. And elastic pools. Okay, the people who are already working in so and so organizations, you know about the shared servers. Shared servers, yep. You know about the shared servers.
Yeah.
Shared server is nothing but in one instance you will keep multiple databases. Each database is pointing to different applications. Those servers will, with those instance, will call it as a shared instance, correct? Mostly for one application we'll use one instance, sir. Okay, mostly for one application we will use one instance. But for coming to going to the shared server, shared instances, that is one of the biggest challenge you will face in real world. Assume, for example, um, let's one second, sir. Let's go for Hilt. Shit. Come on, 1 second. Oh, yeah. So, for example, this is your instance. In this instance, you are having five databases. Okay, db1, db2, db3, db4, db5, db3, db4, db5. So in real world, okay, so mostly we'll go for the dedicated applications. Every, so for example, um, RBA is my application. For this application I'm having production, development, test, pre-prod, stage, build, kind of servers will maintain. Okay, and whatever the servers You are installing SQL Server, whatever the databases you are creating on these servers. This all the databases, all the servers are belongs to this application, dedicated servers, dedicated application. But when you go for the shared servers means, assume you install one server, you created one server. On that server, you created a couple of databases. Each database is belong to different application. This is for one application, this database is another application, this database is in some other applications. So these kind of servers technically we'll call it as a shared servers. Shared server. Like same sir, how the shared servers are working. Elastic pools also same, almost same. Here in one instance we are maintaining multiple databases for multiple applications. Here we are maintaining underlying hardware like CPU, memory, IO. We are sharing CPU, we are sharing memory, we are sharing IO for the databases with help of elastic pools. Elastic pools. So no worries, we'll discuss in depth and we'll go for practical. Everything will go for practical, sir. Don't get confused whoever listening first time. Okay, elastic pools are nothing but sharing the resources, underlying resources like CPU, memory, IO. Yep. Okay, not okay. Questions? No questions?
No question, so
Okay, yeah. Now, next let's are again same. So here, okay, under SQL database, okay, under Azure SQL database, you can deploy single database, you can deploy elastic pool, you can deploy the DB server. That is nothing but logical server. Logical server. Under MI, you can deploy the single instance. Maybe in going forward, you will see the instance pool as well in MI. When you go for SQL on Azure VM, you are having lot many operating systems. Sir. Whenever you are deploying VM for SQL Server, you know right? Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2022, Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2008, 2008 or 2, right? You can deploy whatever image you can, whatever infrastructure, whatever OS you want, you can go and deploy SQL on Azure VM. This is completely a PaaS platform. This is completely PaaS platform, and these two are PaaS platform. PaaS platform as a service. Sir. Platform as a service. Yep. Now, finally, this is what a new concept where you will see only when you are working with, especially working with the PaaS platforms, not in SQL on Azure VM, not in on premises, not in on premises. Especially when you are working with the PaaS, especially when you are working with the PaaS, Microsoft came up with a concept called service tiers. Microsoft came up with a concept called service tiers. We are having two service tiers. One is DTU, one is vCore. One is DTU, one is vCore. Under this service tier, again we are having performance for performance tiers. These are all the performance tiers, sir. Under DTU, we are having basics, we are having standard, we are having premium. When you go for vCore, general purpose, business critical, hyperscale. When you go for MI, there is no concept called DTUs or on MI. We are having only one, that is nothing but vCore. Under vCore, we are having general purpose, business critical. There is no concept called hyperscale. There is no concept called hyperscale. Especially when you are working with MI, there is no concept called DTU. There is no concept called hyperscale. You can deploy your MI under general purpose or under business critical. General purpose or business critical. See, before you go and deploy Azure SQL database, before you go and deploy MI, you need to choose the service tier. Under which service tier I need to deploy. Nothing, sir. Again, core only. Core. How many CPUs? How much of memory? How much of I/O? The service tiers are nothing like a core components. Core. Okay. In under infrastructure, you need to choose how many CPUs, how much of memory, how much of I/O, right? Those information is getting with the help of service tiers, with help of performance tiers, with help of performance tier. When you go to the Azure SQL database, when you go to the Azure SQL database or Elastic Pool or serverless, you are having two, sir. One is DTU, one is vCore. Okay. But when you go for MI, we are having only one, that is nothing but vCore. Yep. Yes. No. No questions? If no questions, we'll discuss one by one, sir, in depth so that you can understand easily. First, let's go for DTO, sir. Okay, let's go for DTO. Let's search in Google, sir. First, let's see what Microsoft is saying. Okay, Azure SQL Database DTOs. Okay, DTO. Let's go for DTO documents, sir. Okay, DTO stands for Database Transaction Unit. DTO stands for Database Transaction Unit. DTO stands for Database Transaction Unit. Most of the people will get confused. Okay, most of the people will get confused that okay, database transaction unit means. So, for example, if I'm going for five DTOs, if I'm going for five DTOs means only I can use five, only I can perform five transactions. Not like that, sir. If I'm going for 10 DTOs, only 10 transactions. If I'm going for 100 DTOs, I can perform only 100 transactions. No, 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 sir. Okay, our understanding should be little bit change here, especially with the DTU, sir. DTU, most of the people having lot of confusion. Okay, most of the people having lot of confusion. Sir, 1 second, let me close my laptop. 1 second. Okay, I am a new developer. Join our team. Please create conference. Okay, that will do tomorrow. No worries. Mm, okay, close. Okay, yeah. Okay, so DTU stands for Database Transaction Unit. DTU stands for DTU stands for Database Transaction Unit. It is nothing but a blend of the resources. So don't get confused at all. If you understand this, whatever I highlighted, okay, if you understand this one, you are almost good at the DTU, sir. This is only one point you should understand. It's a blend of CPU, memory, I/O. It's a blend of CPU, memory, I/O. That's it, sir. Most of the people is getting confused. What is DTU? What is DTU? DTU means okay, like a transaction. If I go for five DTUs, I can perform maximum five transactions. No, sir, it's not like that. Okay. So, for example, when I'm creating Azure SQL database, sir, Azure SQL database, I chosen DTU model. I chosen DTU model. Under the DTU model, I chosen five DTUs. Okay. Assume. Okay. So assume Gautam is performing. Okay. Gautam is performing one insert operation, sir. Insert. So basically, if you perform insert or update or delete, whatever, sir, what are the resources you need? Basically, sir, what are the resources you need? Basic resources you need, sir.
CPU memory.
Yes, you need memory, you need CPU, you need IO. Correct? Wherever, either it can be on premises, it can be cloud, wherever, sir. If you are performing, try to perform something, you need CPU, you need memory, you need IO. Clear or not? Correct, right, sir? Right? In traditional, everything is working independently. Your CPU is working independently, your memory is working independently, your IO is working independently. In generic world, CPU is working independently, memory is working independently, IO is working independently. But when you specially go to the DTUs, it's a blend. It's a blend of CPU, memory, and IO. Means, so for example, Gautam is performing one insert operation and he is trying to insert one record. One record. Sir. He wants CPU, he wants memory, he wants IO. So out of these five DTUs, out of these five DTUs, okay, he's taking one DTU for CPU, one DTU for memory, one DTU for IO. For example, sir, I am telling. For example, one DTU for CPU, one DTU for memory, one DTU for IO, and two more DTUs are free. Till now, no one is using. Same time, Haris is trying to read the data. Haris is trying to read the data. He is going to perform some select statement. Currently, how many DTUs are available? Two. Correct? Currently, two DTUs are available. Out of this two DTU, it should take CPU, it should take memory, it should take IO. Then Haris can go to the lunch. He can go to the cafeteria. He can do the lunch, and he can back to again his desk. The select statement is keep on running. Getting or not? So getting.
Yes, sir.
So it's a blend. You can't tell, okay, this D2 for CPU, this D2 for memory, this D2 for IO. No, sir. It's a blend. It's a blend. Under the D2, we have memory, we have CPU, we have IO. Getting? Not. Clear? Not. If you understand this one, you're almost good, sir. So we can't judge that, okay, this out of this five DTUs, okay, this many DTUs we are using for CPU, this many DTUs we are using for memory, this many DTUs we are using for IO, and only this DTU will go for CPU, this DTU go for memory. Nowhere, sir. No. Out of this five DTUs, it will get the CPU, it will get the memory, it will get the IO. Now I want to improve the performance of Harris select statement. Now go and increase the DTUs. Let's go for 100. Let's go for 200. Let's go for 500. Let's go for 1000. The performance will be good, right, sir? If you wanted to improve the performance of your transactions under DTO, you need to increase the capacity. Like same, sir, here also. If you wanted to increase your laptop performance, you will increase the codes, you will increase the memory, you will increase the storage. Correct? Correct? Like same that you need to increase the DTOs. You need to increase the DTOs so that your performance will be good. Okay?
How do you exactly which resource is utilization more?
That's what, sir. No, nowhere, nothing. It's a
Okay.
blend. It's a blend. It's a blend of CPU, memory, and IO. But we are having couple of DMVs to get some information about how much CPU utilization, how much memory utilization, how much IO utilization. Yes, we can pull, but I am not saying that this DTU for CPU, this DTU, that level I am saying that no. But we can get the information what is the CPU utilization on that specific database, what is the memory utilization on that specific database, what is IO utilization on this specific database. Yes, we can get it. We can get it that information, sir. Try to understand the logic here. We can get it, but But here we are trying to configure with help of DTUs. We will see only the DTUs. When you go for if you wanted to increase the performance, you need to increase the DTUs so that your CPUs will increase, so that your memory will increase, so that your IO will increase. Like it's in traditionally everything is independent. In traditional, when you go and take your laptop, CPUs are working independently, memory is working independently, IO is working independently. But when you specially go to the DTUs, it is a blend of CPU, memory, and IO. Got the point, everyone? Yes? No?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
In order to understand the DTU based purchasing model more clearly, we need to clarify what does make sense DTU in Azure SQL Database. Uh, what exactly it is doing? What exactly it is doing? Okay, it describes the performance unit metrics for all Azure SQL Database. It's a performance, sir. And DTU is nothing but performance. It's a DTU is a blend of memory, CPU, and IO to drive the different level of applications. Okay, this is one thing. It's a one thing. And one more question you will get it is how many DTUs I need to select whenever I'm specially migrating to to the cloud, on-prem to cloud. If sir, in on-premises, what we will do, we'll purchase the CPUs, we'll purchase the memory, we'll purchase the storage, and easily we can okay, this is running with 8 cores, this is running with the 16 GB of RAM, this database is running with 1 TB of storage. Yes or no? But here, how you can see this many cores, this much of memory? Now, little bit challenge, right? If I go for DTU, correct?
Yeah.
One question.
Yes.
When you compare with on-premises and Azure SQL, on performance level, how much it is more benefit compared to on-premises?
No, no, sir. Performance we'll see later. Try to understand the logic here. Okay. First, we'll see what is DTU. Then we'll go for performance later. Still, we not yet done anything, right? It's in a starting phase. I don't want clumps more, sir. i- You already installed SQL Server on your laptop. If I ask a question, assume you are having only one instance, only one database, okay, and you know about your laptop configuration. You are using with 8 cores, you are using with 8 GB of RAM, you are using 500 GB of storage. You can easily tell, sir. Now, if I want to migrate that database to the cloud, especially to Azure SQL Database, especially to the DTU, now you will face little bit challenge, right? Yes or no? Because under DTU, I cannot directly go and choose 8 cores. I cannot go and choose directly 8 GB of RAM because DTU is nothing but blend, a blend of CPU, blend of memory, blend of IO. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, this is the first question definitely most of the people will raise. Okay, that we'll discuss, sir, when we are discussing migration part. Okay, we'll say I will give you best example so that you can understand easily how many DTUs really I need for my database, which I am trying to migrate from one source to Azure SQL database. Your source can be any, sir. It's going for Azure SQL database, it's going for DTU, then how many DTUs I need to select. Under the DTU again we have three, right? Under the D2 again we are having three. One is basic, one is standard, one is premium. Which performance tier I need to select? Okay, how many DTUs? That is the first question. Again, which performance tier I need to select? Either I can go for basic or I can go for standard, either I can go for premium. And what is the difference? All this we'll discuss. Okay, these are the two challenges you will face when you specially working with Azure SQL database with DTU purchasing models, sir. Yeah. If someone is asking what is DTU, DTU stands for Database Transaction Unit. It is nothing but blend of CPU, memory, and IO. So in traditionally, all these three resources are working independently, but here three resources are working with combination. Yeah. Now you can raise the questions. Yep. Questions? No questions?
No questions, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Now, sir, if I go for basic, standard, premium, I'm having three, sir. I'm having three. Okay. Microsoft. I'm not saying anything, sir. Microsoft is saying everything. Okay. Hey. Okay. So if you go to the MSDN block, so Microsoft is giving all the information. If you have the time, if you have the patience, just refer this document. You will become more stronger in DTU purchasing model. Okay. So everything's are cloud, especially when you go for cloud, refer the MSDN blocks. Very, very important. Okay. So because Microsoft is draftly changing like anything. I mean, so cloud is changing draftly. So you need to see if you're reading one document, which platform it is applicable. This DTU is only applicable for Azure SQL Database, not in MI, not in on-premises. Sir, if I go for vCore, say for example, if I go for vCore, see, it's it's applicable for Azure SQL Database, it's applicable for MI. If you're reading this document, you are almost good at both platforms, MI and Azure SQL Database. If you're reading this document, you're almost good at MI and Azure SQL Database. So when you start referring my MSDN block, just see here under which platform this feature is applicable. That is also one of the key important point you need to remember, sir. So under the DTU, we are having three. We are having three. One is basic, one is standard, one is premium. One is premium. So premium is nothing but SSDs. SSDs we are using. When you deploy Azure SQL Database under premium, your performance will be too good, sir, because premium is working with SSDs. When you compare with the basic, when you compare with the standard, okay, so premium will give the better performance. Premium will give the better performance because that is running backend with the SSDs. SSDs means your storage is running with SSDs. See, sir, when you go for basic, you will get maximum 5 DTUs. Sir, what I can do with 5 DTUs? What you can do with 5 DTUs, sir? If you simply run one select statement, also it will take a lot of time, right? With the 5 DTUs. Agree, not agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, when you go for basic, okay, you will get maximum 5 DTUs and your database size is maximum 2 GB. It includes log file. Again, sir, make a note. It includes log file. Along with the log file, data file, maximum your database size will be 2 GB. You can't, it won't grow more than 2 GB. If you want to increase your storage, you need to go for standard. You need to go for standard. If you go for standard, maximum you will get 3000 DTUs and your database size should be 1 terabytes. Out of this, log file, data files, sir. Log file, data file. In that 1 TB, log file will be available, data file will be available. Both, sir. When you go for standard, your database size will be 1 TB. You will get maximum 3000 DTUs. How many DTUs you want? You can choose how many DTUs you want. You can go and choose it, sir. Tomorrow we'll deploy Azure SQL Database. You will get to know a lot of information. Okay, and when you go for premium, you will get maximum 4000 DTUs, 4000 DTUs, and your database will be 4 terabytes. 4 terabytes. Your database size will be, and by default, your premium is using SSDs. Your IO latency will be very good, sir. It's just two milliseconds. It's just 2 milliseconds when you are reading, when you are writing. As per Microsoft recommended, your latency should be below 15 milliseconds. If it is below 15 milliseconds, it's too good. Microsoft is providing only 2 milliseconds, sir, when you are reading, when you are writing. Means your IO is super good. IO is super good. Okay, because it is using SSDs. Okay, but when you go for basic, when you go for standard, when you are performing read operations, 5 milliseconds. When you are writing, 10 milliseconds. Both in standard, both in basic. Both in standard, both in basic. And when you go for backup retention, sir, these are backup retention, sir. No worries. Okay, everything once you deploy, once tomorrow we will deploy Azure SQL Database, you will learn lot of things, sir. It's very easy. Don't think that okay, it's very complex. It's very easy, sir. Okay, because this is the new concept that you are getting a lot of confusion. Once we deploy tomorrow, it's very easy concept. Okay, yeah. So backups, you can maintain for 7 days retention. This is the default retention. 7 days you can maintain the retention. For standard, up to 35 days you can make the retention. For premium, up to 35 days you can make retention. But you told that up to 10 years you can maintain the retention. Yes, sir. That is nothing but long term retention. You need to enable long term retention so that you can keep your backups up to 10 years. You can store your backups up to 10 years. And in memory OLTP, we not yet discussed about in memory OLTP. uh, we will discuss our in memory OLTP in coming sessions. Okay, in memory OLTP is not compatible in basic, not compatible in standard, but it is compatible in premium. So it's a database, sir. Again, don't think differently. It's a database, but when you are creating the database, you need to choose how much performance you are expecting. What is the load on the database? How much performance you are expecting? Based on that, you can go for standard or premium, sir. Don't choose basic, sir. When you are deploying, you can choose basic for lab purpose. Yes, sir, I can agree. But you never go for basic. Basics are in real world. Go for standard, go for premium. It will give the better performance. Yep. No. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Question, sir. Yeah. We go tomorrow. We'll discuss, sir. Again, it is lating. Again, tomorrow morning we have the session, right? Let's discuss tomorrow morning we core and we'll deploy Azure SQL database. Then you will feel so comfortable. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Questions? No questions?
No question from my side.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. See you tomorrow morning, sir. I hope you already received the new meeting link on your WhatsApp group. Use that meeting link for tomorrow. We are going to create all. We already created always on. We are going to add the disaster recovery DR server into the existing always on availability group. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Subbu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See you tomorrow morning.